The Astounding Broccoli Boy by Frank Cottrell Boyce. Britain's top secret scientists are summoned to the top secret government installation where the Astounding Broccoli Boys are being held. When I opened my eyes the next morning, Nurse Rock and Dr. Brightside were staring in at me through the fish tank window. Behind them were about 1 million other grown-ups in white overalls, all talking and making notes. "Tommy Lee," I hissed. "He's awake. Rory's just opened one eye," shrieked Dr. Brightside. "I told you they weren't in a coma," sniffed Nurse Rock. "They're practically teenagers. Teenagers sleep until lunchtime. Even the ones that are washed and dressed and sitting in school are mentally asleep until lunchtime." She probably didn't know that the intercom was on. "Tommy Lee," I hissed again. "No one is looking at me," he growled. "Not while I'm green." He wrapped his duvet tight around him. He looked like a massive floral caterpillar. Dr. Brightside tapped at the window with her pen and pointed to the intercom, which was in Tommy Lee territory. "No, you don't," rumbled the floral caterpillar when I tried to cross his invisible line. "They want to talk to us." "I don't want to talk to them." Now that I'd opened both eyes and counted, I could see there weren't a full 1,000,000 people. It was closer to 7 people. They were all making notes, though. One of them, a massive bloke with a massive beard, leaned into the intercom and boomed, "Is your friend the same shade of green?" "Yes, he is," said Dr. Brightside. "Exactly the same, even though they were different colours to start with." Massive Beard wanted to see. "Of course. Rory, tell Tommy Lee to get out of bed." "Not getting out of bed," grunted Tommy Lee. Other questions were flying out of the intercom and squawking around the room. Could I lift my top up so they could see my chest? Was I in pain? Had I experienced any strange hallucinations? If Tommy Lee wasn't getting out of bed, then he couldn't stop me from talking to them, could he? I padded across the room. The caterpillar duvet froze. I spoke right into the intercom. "We don't feel ill. We feel great. The truth is, we're not sick. We're just different." When I looked back at them, they were mostly holding their ears. Apparently, if you speak right into the intercom, it makes a weird wailing sound. I stepped away from the intercom and said it again. "We're not sick. We're just different." They all looked at Dr. Brightside. She smiled. "While it's true that their health indicators are generally very good, I think we'd all agree that if we were to let them go into the outside world looking like that, people would stare and call them names. They'd suffer enormous psychological damage. We need to protect them." "Good point," said Massive Beard. "Also, in their current medical climate, with the whole country in a state of emergency about cat flu, the prospect of an epidemic of green children could trigger a highly volatile situation. We need to protect these boys." "We don't need protecting," I said. "We feel super." "Such a positive outlook," said Dr. Brightside. "It's heartbreaking." "Dr. Brightside is looking after you very well," said Massive Beard. "No, I don't mean super as in good. I mean super as in super with a capital S. Like superheroes. We feel different." The caterpillar duvet shuffled. The doctors stopped making notes. They stared at me through the window. It made the fish tank feel less like a fish tank and more like a television set. And I was the program. Think about it. Who else in history has ever turned green? They all looked blank. I listed the only other green people in history, as told to me by my dad. The Incredible Hulk, Swamp Thing, the Green Hornet and the Green Goblin. What did all these people have in common? "They're all fictitious," said Dr. Brightside. "But besides that?" They still looked blank. "They're all super, with superpowers." "Actually," interrupted Dr. Brightside, "the Green Goblin is a supervillain, not a superhero." "But he's got superpowers. That's my point." "I believe I'm right in saying," said Massive Beard, "that he was originally a billionaire chemist who created a serum to turn himself into an evil genius." Why were they talking about the Green Goblin? I was talking about us. They were missing the whole point. "The whole point," I said, "is he was green. He was green and he had superpowers, okay? If you turn green, there's only one possible diagnosis, and that's super." It went very quiet inside the fish tank all of a sudden. Dr. Brightside had muted the intercom. I could see her discussing what I'd said with all the other doctors. I couldn't hear their voices, but I could see that Massive Beard was saying, "For all we know, these symptoms of grandeur, these delusions of grandeur could be a symptom." "No, Dr. Big Beard, we don't have any delusions of grandeur. We are grand." "How does he know I said that?" said Massive Beard. Can he hear through walls? That's exactly my point. My brain has had an upgrade. I notice all kinds of things I never noticed before. I can hear things, smell things. I can tell what you were saying just by looking at your face. Lip reading is not a superpower, growled Nurse Rock. It is if you don't actually know how to lip read, I said. Also, I slightly teleported. You slightly teleported? Dr. Brightside asked. I don't want to go into details. I didn't want to tell them about the whole walking around London at night in pyjamas in case they decided it was bad for us and tried to stop us. But I definitely teleported a short distance. Interesting, said Massive Beard. Is there anything we can do to help you in your work? I thought about asking for gadgets or some sort of training, or maybe a proper outfit. How are you for capes and masks? Said one of the doctors at the back. Have you got a name or a logo? They all started suggesting names. What about Broccoli Boy? The Broccoli Kid? The Mean Green Team? Lettuce Man? The Chameleons because you changed colour? Captain Chronic because it's a chronic condition? Bogey Boy because you're the same colour as bogies? The Bogey Man. Oh, the Bogey Man is good. Then you can say you've been picked for your mission. Everybody laughed. While they were laughing, Tommy Lee rolled off his bed and gave the intercom one of his bad looks. They're laughing at us, he growled. I hate that. Through the window, grown-up faces in white coats were talking, shouting, nudging each other, and most of all laughing. The laughing seemed louder now that you couldn't hear it. Right, he growled. You'll pay for this. He thumped the intercom. You're all laughing, he roared, but it's really true. Rory can teleport. Look, he does it like this. The doctors looked round. Tommy Lee picked me up and flung me across the room. See? I smacked into the wall. Interesting, said one of the voices. Do you think the green pigmentation has in some way made this boy more aggressive? No, I yelled. He was always like this. This is exactly my point. Tommy Lee hoisted me back into the air. He's behaving exactly the same as he did before he went green. Going green hasn't affected his health at all. He proved my point by throwing me clear across the room onto my bed. He's strong, I bawled. Would he be this strong if we were sick? When Nurse Rock burst in, I was lying on the bed, noticing the fact that I didn't hurt. Once you've jumped off a 12-storey building, being shoved around a bedroom doesn't bother you. I thought to myself, am possibly invincible, or indestructible, but definitely quite comfortable.